Yeah, it's a hard one. They're all hard.
The one at home I have is good.
Yeah, I have. At work, I have a really good one. In the prison,
Oh boy, these are good.
Practicing. Is this practice?
Should have brought my from home.
No.
they're all very difficult.
You don't know how to do this?
I can, but I'm sick. I don't want to get anybody else sick.
I'm not gonna get anybody.
Everybody is sick already.
Yeah. I was out of work all week.
But
I
that's
was
all.
on the way to my house. I went to the doctor.
What?
I went to the doctor
And then there was the third one.
Well,
Oh,
yesterday.
you're the only one who could do this.
No, the Rabbi is very good at it.
There you go.
Without married shortly,
You still.
so he's the ish,
If the Rav could do
same
it.
notion. A man has two wives. So, and
Three wives.
that was, of course, the time before the edict, the Filmat Ben Gershon, when it's permissible to have more than one wife. And of course, together with the package of another wife came along a mother-in-law as well. So he had to deal with both, with a wife and with a mother-in-law, with two mother-in-laws. So, one was more beloved of his two wives than the other. He can't
Visit.
he can't be married in Achla. The halacha is that a firstborn from the entire inheritance, he gets 2 shares. So if he would want it, because the son of the one that was more beloved, more favorite, he would want that son to share, to have 2 shares, even though he was not. That's what seemingly the interpretation is. Even though he's not the firstborn, so he can't do that. He can't turn down the one that's not beloved, because one that's not beloved, one that was seemingly is the firstborn. The question is, who could possibly enter their mind, the Havamina, that because of his own personal because one is more favored than the other, he could change the law that way. How does that enter into the picture? Secondly, it says, "V'yoldu banim ha'ahuva v'asnua." It says, and they gave birth. Both women gave birth, the beloved one and the one that's not beloved. So it seems from the way it's expressed here in the psukim, in the verses, that the beloved one was born first. The old way born first Ahuva, and so how could come into question that the beloved should not get first? So the going to like this. He says that the question is who conceived first. So he said what happened here was that the one that was not beloved conceived first, but and the one that was beloved conceived afterwards, and the one that was beloved gave birth prematurely at 7 months. So even though that one, the beloved one, conceives later, but he gave birth first. So we might assume that the one that enters the world first should be the one that should perhaps you should get 2 shares. By the way, the Meshech Chochmah, the Marsmeach says the reason that the firstborn gets 2 shares is simply because he's the one that made a father for a father. So we might assume that being that this one entered the world first, so he should get he should be the one that gets 2 shares. So Torah tells us no, lo yuchol vakir nahu, you can't do that. Why? Simply because kihu reishis oinoi, because he was the first seed, the one that's not beloved was his wife conceived first. She was the first seed, so therefore he has to receive, the one that's not beloved has to receive 2 shares. There was the Gemara Talmud of Basra brings an interesting story. A mother one time privately chastised her daughter. She said, he says, your promiscuity, the way you conduct yourself is you do it so openly. He says that's not the way you should conduct yourself. She says, you have so many affairs. He says, you have 11 brothers and sisters. So he says, of all the children, he said, only one is from your father. He said, nobody knows. Why? Because I do it with discretion. That's how she's educating her daughter. She said, if you want to be promiscuous, he said, do it with discretion. Unknowingly, the husband overheard this. The Gemara brings. So when he overheard this, he made out a will, and the Gemara says, and in the will he wrote that his entire inheritance should go to his real son. He made out the will, time passed, and he left this world. They opened up his will, and they saw how it's written. Go and know who was the real son. So Talmud brings, they came to Rabbun, it was a Chom Godel, very, very wise man, and to ask him what to do. What do you do with a will like that? Well, we're not prophets, we're not, who can know? So he said, all the children, he told them like this, all the children should gather at the grave, and they should hold a sword in their hand. And one after the other should come forward and plunge the sword into the ground, into the grave. And the father, he said, will, the one that's his real son, the father will somehow let it be known. He'll call out from his grave, he'll call out, then that's my son. So Gemara tells that they all gathered, each one with a sword, and one after the other began plunging the sword into the ground. One of the children held the sword in his hand, and he said, "No, I can't bring myself to desecrate my father's grave. I can't plunge the sword into the grave." So one said, "That's the real son, the one that couldn't bring himself to plunge." What we see from this Gemara is like this: that a child instinctively, even though he never knew, how could he know who his father is? But instinctively, there was in him something which told him that that's my father.